Welcome to American Spaces Core Value Podcast.
With me today, Kartia is the host, and then we have Mas Dani.
Hello, I'm Danny.
Okay, can you please introduce yourself to
Hi,
me?
my name is Pepi. I'm from American Corner UMY.
Hello everyone, my name is Juliandro from American Corner Unpati.
And in today's podcast, we're going to talk about Alumni AS. Mas Dani, can you tell us maybe a little bit about Alumni AS engagement with at America? And then later on, we're going to also hear from you guys.
Alumni engagement at America. We also we actually really engage with the alumni network. Almost every month we have a alumni network at America. So we actually have some kind of like routine programs with the alumni network. We have the like engagement like party. Apa sih gua ngomong apa? Anyway, gue bingung apaan.
Okay, no, it's okay. Let's us hear from these two young girls.
You wanna know
And
first?
Yes, okay. In American Corner UMY, we oftenly, invite the alumni of US from Wisely to talk and to have like talkative session, like just like very not formal session because we just talk like just in coffee break. We can just eat and then talking about US and how they can get there and just like that. See. And what about Unpati?
It's kind of like on different like we have around like 9 American corners in Indonesia, right? So you guys from Pontianak and then from UMY and also from America and also me from Ambon. And here we have like each of us like corners have our own alumni in our province or in our city. So basically like related to like today's topic that we talk about the impact of US alumni involvement. So it's very like impactful for like the retrievement of our like each of our American corners because alumni really given like us a chance to like explore about America, not only from American corner, but alumni also like there are some kinds of like beneficial relationship between alumni and also American corners. For example, like alumni also maybe they know know like the scholarship and also chance to like study in the United States from American Corner, and also American Corner can use like each of their alumni to like share their experience and also share their involvement in like their participation in the scholarship in the United States. So like for example in Ambon, we also have like our podcast and that we invite our alumni so that they can share their experience to inspire more and more people and more youth in Ambon to like talk about and also talk about their experiences and also like to apply to more scholarship and chance that the United States government or Indonesian government in related to like cooperation between the universities and also the US embassy and the US government to like provide the relationship for everyone.
Yes, because when we talk about studying in abroad, we oftenly say like we are so scared to start, and then when we talk to the alumni, we like get like more widely inspiring journey from them just by telling stories by them. So we just like okay, we want to start because we see that a lot of people that are struggling that they succeed to go to abroad, and then we just like okay, I want to start because we heard the story from them, right?
Alright, so from Maluku, usually you guys do podcasts with the alumni, and then UMI, you have talk. How about at America?
And at America, we actually we have like quite like a lot of group of alumni reaching out to us, and then they want to have a programs with us. For example, like I think this month we're going to have like a open day programs. So the way the KL alumni, they're going to have like gatherings and then like open day and then like an announcement of the open registrations this month. I think it's gonna be next week. And then after that, we also have the IVLP alumni that oftenly we have using them as a moderator because they actually came from like the high level of high level community, and also they have the capacity to involve the community. So we oftenly ask them to become like a moderator or also speakers in our program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very experienced and
Yeah.
with different space, yeah.
Because like actually in Ambon, like me personally, I often like take a role as the host for the podcast.
Okay.
So I have like talked with so many alumni, for example like IPLP, KLES, and also from CCI and from
Wisely,
Fulbright, Wisely of
Yeah,
course.
of course,
Like
Wisely.
like our podcast, we're not like uploaded like in the form of like video, but we only like have it in audio.
Oh, and Spotify.
Yeah, on Spotify. So we actually have around like 14 or 15 episodes,
That's
and
huge,
most of them,
actually. That's huge.
yeah, and most of them are like we invited alumni to talk about
What a
their
good
experience.
episode,
Yeah,
I know.
And it's still going till now.
yeah, it's still going.
Oh, the
Yeah,
program is still running then.
Yeah, it's still running. It like it's not only like gonna be like 20 episodes, but we will make sure that we will upload as much as possible. And also till now, we already like stocked some podcast in the form of audio and also audio visual. So when we get the chance to upload it, like if we don't have like any other programs to be uploaded like or be doing in the certain month or certain time, we will upload the podcast. So yeah.
Nice.
So how do you see, how do you guys see the impact of the alumni involvement to resonate the participants in your space?
The involvement, the impact of the alumni, I think
yeah.
it's pretty big and pretty good deal because
Yes.
of like listen to story from the direct alumni, and then like listening to their story when they was in the US, and then and also experience, and then like they give our suggestions or for the audience suggestion for how to get the scholarship. Is really using I think it's really useful for our audience, I believe. Yeah.
Because in American Corner UMI we have like education fair like that, and then oftenly Education USA is invited, and then they will like invite the Wisely in UMY, like alumni of Wisely, and then people will talk a lot and people will ask a lot about how they can get there, how they can get the Wisely program for them, because who doesn't want to go abroad, right?
Right.
Especially for undergraduate.
Everyone wants to.
Yeah, everyone wants to.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's very impactful to like gather more people, gather more visitors to American Corner UMY, because we have like pamphlet like that, Education USA, and then how we can get like Wisely and then Susi maybe like that. So it's like very impactful for American Corner spaces actually.
Yeah, because like the role of alumni are very, like for me personally, after like I participated in several programs and also podcasts like involving the alumni, I think alumni involvement is very like crucial for American Corner itself, because most of the program that we have done in Unpati are like formed from the involvement of alumni. For example, like last month we do the Paper Planet project. So basically we make the recycled paper. Like so that is the cooperation between Access alumni and then two of the local organization, and then collaborating with Amcor. So the workshop, as we've done the workshop in Amcor. So like many of the programs, like we must involve alumni in each of our like most of our program as possible. So like people could like, yeah, as you guys said, people will get more inspired, because like right now I saw that still many people in Ambon, like specifically, don't really know about the chance that the US government, Indonesian government, like give to them, and still giving to them, like related to the scholarship that they can like choose. For example, like your question, like how like we can inspire people, how can we inspire young generation, how can we inspire like people from like different kind of age. For example, like if we want to like inspire people from high school or students from high school, we must invite US alumni.
That's
Right,
true.
right.
Yeah.
Because like they're in the same age, they understand each other.
Yep.
The alumni also understand like the struggle that they face in high school. And if you want to like invite like LP alumni, usually it's teacher.
Right.
So yeah, we can like we must use like all the resources we have at like we must use it so like more and more people like Amcor could reach out to all of them, because what we need in Amcor is exposure to everyone. So like that's basically it.
Okay.
And just to make like more reachable for people.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, like, very brief, one of the most memorable program that you've done with the alumni, like in each different space?
Maybe Danny?
From UMI
Okay.
or
Alumni first.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, because we have like a monthly programs called Cyclub or Psychology. Basically, we talk about psychology, and one of our former volunteer called Uda Emir, and he's the doctor right now. He got like wisely to Montana University, and when he come back, he developed a program from the Cyclub to Telinga Hati, and that's talk about mental health, and that's very impactful, and I think that's very important event for us just to talk about mental health and the stigma, and that's really memorable for the alumni.
Okay, how is the participants' background? Are they from students or public?
That's for public actually, but they have it's just like series, but they have like the day, just a day for the psychological trainings or psychological practitioner together and to talk about how they can end up the stigma or how they can reduce the stigma, and people that thinking about the psychological is it's still bad stigma, and very-
Mental health is very like
Sensitive, like-
essential topic for like Gen Zs and
Yes, exactly.
But
millennials
people,
right now.
like to doesn't want to talk about it because it's very sensitive,
Yeah.
but it's very essential.
Like we need to have like a role model for like for example, like we as Gen Z, we need to have at least one person as role model to like open the gate for us
Yeah.
to like talk about our mental health and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about Maluku?
I think Paper Plant is one of the project.
Oh.
Yeah, that because it involved Access alumni, of course, but I don't want to see from the perspective that we can only like use our alumni resource, as like they brought their like program names that they are participated in, but the alumni themselves, like they're like personally. For example, like one of our alumni, Kajuan Sakwarela, he's also like worked as a news anchor in TVRI Maluku. So like he has more connection to the medias and stuff, to organization and stuff. So one of the most like for me personally most memorable program is in last year. It's called Amboina Coastal Care, which is a series of program when we like raising the awareness of like so people could care more about like our coast, our beach and stuff, mangroves and stuff. So it's a series of program that's involved many people, like collaboration from the organizations, and then it's a series of program like we've done socialization, we working with the government, and also we do talk shows, we invited stakeholders, and we've also done workshops, and then the last one, the final project, we've done mangrove planting. So yeah, we find certain location that already being degraded by the human activity, and then we do the mangrove planting.
Right. Thank you for sharing. So let's us hear from America.
So at America, so beside YCL alumni, beside KLS alumni, beside IVLP alumni, we also have a American Music Abroad programs. So one of the biggest how you call it, biggest
It's a music festival.
yeah, so one of the biggest music festival that we host at Americas, actually we have a concert every month.
Oh,
with the
yeah.
alumni, highlighting our American music program alumni from Ferris, from Berry Kumahua, from I don't know, like from any other artist from many city in Indonesia. We brought them to at America to have a perform at America every month. So every month we have like a series of program from our alumni to perform that kind like diverse kind of music. So yeah, that's one of the memorable moment for me.
I mean, it's very memorable because it's also part of like cultural exchange.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing. So before we end this podcast, maybe you can share to our viewers how they connect with your space.
Maybe to connect with the American Corner Universitas, you can find us at Instagram at American Corner Universitas, also in YouTube. American Corner Universitas is the same, and then you can find us. You can listen to our podcast in Spotify. Corner Universitas podcast. Maybe that's it. Yeah.
For Encore UNY, you can just follow us on our social media and Encore UNY, and then when you want to hear our podcast, you can follow us in YouTube account or POA of podcast or American Corner UNY.
For at America, please follow us at America social media. We have an X, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and also live stream. So yeah, AT America.
Alright, for those who are in Surabaya, you can also come to Airlangga University, where the American Corner is located here too. And then I think this is the end of our session. I'll see you again in the next podcast. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.